All right, welcome back, everyone. It's been a very long time. It's been about 8 months, and since then, I've purchased a house. I got a new position at work, and I've read a lot of Stephen King. Now, I haven't let my thoughts known on all those books and what I'm currently reading, but I'm back now, and I appreciate everyone who is still subscribed to my channel and those who will subscribe to my channel in the future. Currently, I am, finally reading a Brandon Sanderson book that is not A Wheel of Time. I started off my journey on Mistborn, The Final Empire, and actually I'm more disappointed in myself that it took me this long to actually jump into the Cosmere, universe. So I don't want to give any spoilers away. Basically, this book is broken down to 5 different sections. The first section right now, it's the survivors of Hathsin. That's where I'm currently at, so I'm 5 chapters in. I plan on reading the rest today and tomorrow, and I'm actually planning on reading one of Brandon Sanderson's books every 2 days or 2 every week from now until December, and we can talk about that in a bit. But not to give too much spoilers away, how I interpret this story so far, just 5 chapters in, is it's one of those stories of the haves and haves not, with more of a magical, unique story or features woven into it. You have the Ska, which are essentially slaves that work under a particular high noble leader or family, depending on where they're currently at, and it's basically just a broken down of the haves and the have-nots. The story starts off just focusing around 2 characters. Vin, just this small petite girl who is trying to make it day by day, under the understanding that everyone's gonna betray you. Her brother recently betrayed her, so she's very, even though very observant about everything, she's still very pessimistic. And then the other character is Kelser, and he's basically this well-known allomancer, you think at first, but it starts off with basically Vin and her current, thug, thieving, group or whatnot, trying to pull off this giant heist, and basically pull one over of the high nobles. And then how the story is kind of written in the very beginning is you have a chapter basically from her standpoint going into this building, and I'm not trying to give away any spoilers, goes into this building, and then she has this power that she calls luck, and she believes it's to basically manipulate people into believing or doing what she wants them to do, and she uses her luck in that building. And then in the next chapter, when you're talking about Kelsier, it's his point of view of being in that same building and basically watching over her because his brother let him and his friend know about the girl and that she has great promise. And so he's watching her and then realizes that her using her luck triggered basically the nobles. They're aware of, that she's doing that, and then they're going to be trying to hunt her. So it's basically back and forth, a chapter of him, chapter of her, chapter of him. And so far what I liked, and again, this is only 5 chapters in, so I may be missing a lot of stuff, or, none of these videos have a particular script, so I may be missing a lot, but eventually their 2 paths cross up. She is with her current crew, and she's having a pretty awful night She tried to originally escape, and then that got stopped. And in the process of that getting stopped, Cosmere decides to step in and quickly disarm the situation. And when he's disarming the situation, people quickly realize who he is outside of Vin. And, it just breaks down from there. He tries to win her trust real quick, sees that that's not going to work. She finds out that maybe what she's been calling luck for a while is more of a allomancy. So it's there's a multiple branch of allomancies using the 10 metals, and there might be an 11th metal or something like that. But you're basically using metals to project unique powers. And you can have mistings that are able to use one power. So basically the whole premise of him meeting Vin was to see if she is a misting, which can control one power. So she was aware that she only had one. She was focused on, her luck, or basically getting on people's feelings. So she was trying to use that one. Well, he wanted to find out if she could tap into any of the other, magic, allomancy, strings. And she was able to. So right away he knew that she was not a misting, but a Mistborn. And it was very rare, because usually mistings can only tap into one of the 8 abilities, but if you're a Mistborn, you have access to all 8. And he made it clear that Vin wasn't the only one who was a Mistborn, but in fact he was. And then later on through the chapter, you realize that, his story is a little bit more complex in that. He wasn't always he wasn't always able to use those abilities, and he wasn't able to tap into it. So prior to, his past, Mistborn arc, he was basically a crew leader and one of the best, and didn't have any access to any powers. Then he was, caught, and then he was put down into the pits, and through the pits he realized that there was much more to the types of metals, and whether or not that certain individuals who were perceived to be immortal were actually immortal. So his plan then is to come back, gather a crew, and basically make sure that he can put an end to the final empire. Try not to give away too much, but at least it's basically hey, I was one of the best crew leaders. I got basically captured, left to die basically in the pits. I survived it, the only one who has ever survived it. And I'm coming back now to put together a crew in order to take down the whole entire empire. That's basically the story there. And then within that story, you have Vin, that girl who was trying to really find out, maybe the life that she thought she was living and struggling by has much more in store for her. However, she's really, struggling to let anyone in. She's constantly reciting some of the words and that her brother said to her about, people will abandon you, you can't trust people. And so it's very hard for her to allow Cosmere and his friend Doxson and then the other crew members to really get in, because she is only used to betrayal. Outside of that, the magic system is interesting. I really like it. I imagine because I am a few decades behind when it comes to reading this book, that how the magic system is laid out so far that I know in these chapters is basically you have this pit of feelings in you that you can pull on, and if you're Mistborn, then you could force people to feel this way, or whether it's doing what you want or feeling a certain way. But the breakdown of the flying, pushing and pulling, when Cosmere went to go find some new metals, I believe in chapter 4 or 5, It was basically detailing how the actual magical system worked, and he was basically seeing these, blue strings, and this was basically a push and pull mechanism where, you want to use, a certain type of metal that he consumes or whatnot, and then basically he's pulling himself to metal or he's pushing himself away metal. And basically from the outsiders, you're going to think that these Mistborns can fly, but it's actually this weird pushing and pulling towards like heavier or lighter metals. It's pretty awesome. I really enjoyed it. Again, it's last night, read 5 chapters, so there's probably a lot that I'm missing, or a lot of the story that maybe people have read and reread over the past decades, and constantly learning and theorizing over it. So I'm very far behind, but I plan on catching up pretty quickly. And just it's been a while since a series like this has really captured me. I think the last one was probably The Expanse. All those books, you read the first book, The Expanse, and you're just like, okay, all right, so this is a little bit different, so let me get into it. And you quickly absorb all those books. I can tell you right now that this is probably going to be at least a Mistborn series, and all the arcs I'm going to be going through. I'll see about the other Brandon Sanderson books, but I did want to say one thing. What kind of actually prompted me in order to actually pick this up right away is I have a business obligation in Salt Lake City in the middle of December. Well, it seems that there's something also happening the week before that, and it is the Dragonsteel Nexus 2024 in Salt Lake. So if I'm going to be up there for work anyway, it's going to be a very great, I guess, luck of the draw when it comes to, hey, we want to send you to this, Salt Lake in the middle of winter, and it just happens to be Brandon Sanderson's Dragonsteel, I guess, convention. So I'll be going there. If anyone else is going there, let me know in the comments. Maybe we can, meet up at the convention center or near one of the exhibitions or exhibits or whatnot. But thanks for watching the video. Hopefully I'm able to pump out, maybe 2 a week, depending on, work, reading, and things like that. But again, thank you for watching.